Critical Role Recap, Season 2, Episode 12. The first half of the episode was spent trying to gather information and prepare for the heist maneuvers that they were going to make the night of the festival that was going on, the gala. They split into two groups. Jester and Bo went off to the High Richter's house, and then the other four went over to like a hospital where one of the people worked, that they were trying to break into the office and trying to get some handwriting samples for Jester to forge letters in order to plant documents that made it look like they were in collusion with each other and working with the Myriad as well as the Knights of Requital. They were trying to plant evidence that would show that these people are working together and with bad guys in order to get them ousted. Bo and Jester just kind of walk around the house and case it and find a tree that they could use to possibly climb over the gate in order to get onto the property. The other four try and pull off a con in order to get some time in the office to look around the papers. So Molly Mock paints his penis to make it look like he's got some sort of disease on it or something, and is planning on pretending to be sick along with Ford. Molly also prepares some fake vomit juice by mixing like mayonnaise, scrambled eggs, beer, and hot sauce, which sounds pretty disgusting. He puts that all into his canteen, and then him and Ford walk up to the hospital. Molly vomits in the face of the caretaker when the doctor comes by, but kind of wanders off drunkenly, crawling around, and cuts open his own neck while Ford runs around coughing and pretending to be sick also to cause a distraction. Meanwhile, Caleb is got himself illusioned up to look like an orc woman and is carrying around Nott as if it's his baby and is trying to also get in, basically. Things don't go super well for them. They nearly get caught multiple times. Molly does actually get locked into one of the examination rooms and has to jump out the window to get out. Very narrow escapes. They all manage to get away, and Ford did manage to snap up some papers, but those papers proved to be basically useless. And then after the break, in the second part of the episode, we do finally get some combat for the first time in a bit. It is with a rug, but it actually results in two of them becoming knocked unconscious. It's one of their roughest fights yet, and it's with a single enchanted rug that kind of beats the shit out of them. It's pretty funny. It's the Rug of Smothering. It uses an attack that grabs someone up and snatches them, and then while it's smothering someone, they can't breathe or move. And in addition to that, any damage done to the rug is split half and half between the rug and the person being bound up. So in killing the rug, they also end up knocking Nott unconscious and then Bo unconscious with the final blow that finishes off the rug. So it was a bit of a sticky situation, but they did manage to pull through it without anything serious. They did go through two of their potions, though, to bring people back. Nott finally does do her thiefly duties in looking for traps and trying to disarm them and picking locks and all that, coming into her own as a rogue. And she's given some guidance from Ulog, the dwarven rogue that they take with them, that is part of the Knights of Requital, that they nearly forget to take with them, but Jester runs and retrieves and brings him along for this heist mission where they break into the two separate places. The first place that they break into goes pretty smoothly. They find all the traps and manage to get in and out without too much issue. But in the second place, the High Richters, she comes home just as they're trying to leave after dealing with the rug in her house. Ulog sacrifices himself. He has some sort of magical amulet that he uses to run over, jump, and explode himself and the High Richter, killing them both at the same time, in order to help them get out. And so the High Richter had started ringing her bell to summon the guards as this was happening, and the guards start to try and pound through the door. But as this is happening, we get some pretty big plot development stuff going on, where like some sort of giant explosion happens in one of the towers, and the tower starts to collapse from it and is then held aloft by some sort of magical spell to prevent it from falling. So it like starts to crash down and then is prevented from falling. And there's some sort of aerial battle going on between, it looks like 2-on-2 sort of aerial battle where they're flying around and shooting lightning bolts and all sorts of crazy shit. The group uses this to get themselves the hell out of Dodge and sneak back into the sewers. Caleb did find a chest with scrolls in it, with like magical scrolls, which caused a little bit of an issue initially because Ford was like, they weren't supposed to take anything. They weren't supposed to show that they had been there, basically. And so Ford challenges both him and Nott and kind of makes them stand down, but then Nott ends up picking it up later anyway, stealing it. Caleb also found some sort of magical river stone that he pocketed without anyone really knowing about it. They managed to get back into the sewers just in time and then start making their way back to their inn. And while going through the sewers, they stumble upon what appears to be a Crick assassin, which is one of the assassins from the educational porn historic fiction banned book with all black armor, like very insect-like, and rear-facing horns and hooks coming off the shoulders and elbows. So the seemingly Crick assassin speaks to them in Undercommon, but none of them understand it. And Caleb begins to cast a spell in order to understand the language, in order to converse with him. And as he starts to cast a spell, the Crick assassin charges at him, probably not knowing what the spell is, begins to charge at him, and that's where the episode ends. So very much a cliffhanger. This episode, lots of things happened. It was really, like, the first half was really funny. The second half was really interesting. I would highly recommend watching this one. The whole hospital scenario was pretty hilarious. I look forward to the next episode where we'll see what's going on with this Crick assassin who was running away from the mages that were flying all over the place and shooting lasers at them and shit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.